Hi everyone, my name is Joanie Eisinger. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know the drill, have a glass of water by you in case I go in and I'm guided to tell you to have a sip of water. That means that somewhere in this reading, there's going to be healing. And the other side, the divine ones, want negative energies to flush through your physical body as a result of my assisting and helping you clear something. So today is January 5th, and I'm here to do a collective reading with a forecast for 2020. So what I would say to all of you is take what resonates, put the rest on the shelf. Time is an illusion, and that what might be shared now isn't necessarily what is going to happen tomorrow, but it would feel that it's going to transpire over the course of the year. Timelines shift. If you have fear and doubt, that definitely holds back and blocks what you would possibly have manifest in this coming year. And if you are skeptical about readings in general, then chances are what would be shared with you would not come to be. So I'm going to go in, which means I'm going to put my Joanie aside and I'm going to call in the highest of Christ's light, which would include angels, archangels, ascended masters, departed ones, elementals, star beings, consciousnesses, only the highest of your guides, my guides, and collectively through one voice would come through a message for all of you who would be watching this video. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to see what is in store for all of you for 2020. Okay. There are many of you that are following other people for guidance and for news and support. And what I received was sheep no more. I need to constantly be interpreting what the metaphorical flowery language is as to whether it is a sheep, meaning that some of you are in fact sheep watching this video, or whether you're followers. So there are many of you that are relying on others for wisdom, and you are policing people to see whether they are telling the truth, and you're analyzing and you're measuring and you're hoping that someone's going to deliver you truth. And this year, this upcoming year for many of you is to come into your own, to establish your own set of wisdom. If you haven't honed it, now is the time. It's to release people who are guiding you in the way where you've hung your hat on their words, on every word that they have uttered. It is not about your believing in someone as if they are going to deliver you the word and save you. You were here to save yourself. You were here to come up with conclusions based on what people share with you. There are many wise ones around you, but it's your job to discern, to sift, not measure, judge, and take and bring in as if it is the one and the only, the be all end all, and that your conclusion is based on others' conclusions. You make up your mind, you go in, and you know what? You might even conclude things yourself without someone telling you what they came up with. So that's a really big thing that's going to be happening for many of you in 2020, becoming your own boss, becoming your wise man, your wise woman. I'm going to go back in and see what more there is. Well, I get that there are a lot of telltale makers. There are people that tell tales, and that some of you are going to be paying prices for slips of the tongue. That for what you have woven, some of the web of lies that you created, it might come back to you. Watch your words, speak wisely, and be fair. It has not been okay for some of you what you have been doing, the telling of untruths, the lying, It's been for your own aggrandizement. It's been for your feeling that you needed to do this in some way, that you had to say these things, these untruths. But underneath you're doing this, you didn't feel worthy. You felt you were justifying what you were doing because of the sadness that's inside of you, that's underneath the shell. Your work is to release all suffering and sadness and unworthiness that leads you to create a fabric of lies. It's like a veneer that you have that you feel that you need to wear, so others will believe you. So when you let down that fake coat of armor, the robe of many colors, the fake robe of many colors, and you see yourself in where you are today, that the sad one that feels forsaken, and you work and work and work towards healing, you'll find that truth comes out of your mouth, and you no longer wrestle with those demons that seem to urge you to tell people what isn't so. Work on being the best version of who you are. Talk to someone about it. You can talk to a beloved one and say, you know, I really feel that I'm not honest with other people. If you're not honest with other people, it means you're not being honest with yourself. See what another person says. I would entrust yourself with a good friend or family member, someone that you love that could handle this information that you share with them without judgment, and see what happens. If you can release the suffering here in 2020, you will be free. And go in for more. There are folks that put their eggs all in one basket, and it's a hope that change will come if they rely on an event to occur or someone to say something that would free them. Some people here that are watching want for a person to forgive them, and that if the person forgave them, that everything would be okay. And that egg is in that basket, and that other egg, and all the eggs are in that basket of that person releasing them. There is someone that feels very foolish. They feel that they know that this is unrealistic. There are so many of you that are hoping and praying that things will change and shift if someone forgives you, if they just reach out and talk to you. And if they do that, then things will be better. The hope is very important, yet it's very important for those of you that have been expecting and hoping and praying for something that doesn't seem quite right, to reevaluate what is realistic regarding your interpersonal relations with people. And if things have gone awry, if they're no longer stable, reassessment is necessary in order to find balance and set the table straight. What I get is there are a lot of people who are suffering. There are a lot of people that feel very, very sad, and that we do things when we're sad that aren't balanced. They get us off track from what we set out to do in our present incarnation. And there's no judgment here. It's just what happens in Earth School when people find themselves off track. Suffering is oftentimes a very, very big part in why people start wandering. During this time, during this 2020, there are people that are going to be increasing their faith. They will feel that the presence of Jesus or the Lord or God is with them. People are going to feel the presence of the divine. They will notice events that take place that are miraculous. Their thoughts and their prayers will be answered. They will rise up. I see elation. I see people coming to terms with what they had been battling, and that they are, I feel heaven. I feel absolute joy when I go into this. I hear it as the promise. Um, I see people returning to church. I see people returning to sanctuaries of any kind. I see group meditation and prayer. I see collective holding hands. I see hearts linked. There's a lot of rejoicing. Faith being restored on earth. Many parents have been allaying the fears of their children. I see many, many, many parents and caregivers telling their children, it's okay, it's okay, hold out, it's okay, it's okay. So there's a lot of that going on. This might go on for a while in 2020 with parents reassuring their children, they could even be grown children, that everything is okay, that we're in this to win this, and everything is as is. Hold on there. We're okay. So for those parents of you that are weary, keep doing that. Keep reassuring your children, reassure your family members, your loved ones, your friends. But I do see a lot of parents that are taking time out to make sure that their kids are sane, stable, and positive. So that's very important during this 2020. I see more people going for the nuts and the berries. So there are a lot of people that have been eating processed foods and they want to change their diet. And I see more berries and grains. I see nuts, and people are starting to drink more water, and they're starting to take care of their bodies more. They're starting to notice changes in their system, and they're feeling comfortable with going out on a limb and trying something different. Whereas before, people were more stuck in their burger, fry, and shake. They call that, they're saying it's like the burger, fry, and shake mentality, or hot dog and pizza fries. Whichever the case, it's all fine, but that people weren't, they weren't realizing that they were carrying it around with them. And there's an energy that comes with food that is a lower vibration, that has more fats, that has more dense proteins that need to be processed longer until they're eliminated. So there are some lighter foods that people are starting to incorporate into their diets, and they start feeling better and noticing that their thinking, their processing, and their emotions are more in sync, that they're more lively, animated, and happy when they eat better. So this is also going to be a change for many folks, the way that they eat. There's just going to be a noticing of their diet, and then there's going to be a continuation of the better foods and a removing, not necessarily a waning of, but a removing of some of the foods that had them down and put on, where they put on a lot of weight. There are folks who have been climbing the mountain. They've been up on the ski slope, and they have been working very, very hard to get to that high and mighty place. And they haven't felt that they've achieved all that they could achieve. And their guides are telling them, keep going, don't stop. It's not a time to stop. And if you say that you're a failure, then you have already failed. Watch your words and watch your mentality. Watch how the thoughts and the words combined with emotions can stuck you up and stop you from getting to that precipice and then feeling good about how high you've achieved your goal. So for those goal setters that are, they're climbing up that mountain, or they're at the top of the mountain, but they don't feel that they're there yet. It's the, are we there yet? Or they're at the top, but they don't feel they're at the top, and they're looking out and going, really, is this all that there is? Guides are sharing with them, keep going, reevaluate, see if there are any stones that aren't covered. Uncover each stone, look underneath, go back, and see if there's anything that you missed. Chances are that you're there and you're just not crediting yourself for all the work that you've done. But if you haven't gotten there yet, keep going. Now is the time, with all the fantastic energies that are coming in, to take a look at your projects, reassess, start setting the goals, put them on the calendar, get those dates down if you want to, if that's the way that you roll, and then set out to do what you've planned. When you start evaluating yourself and giving yourself a report card, you've set blocks. There's no judgment here and no self-judgment. It's not necessary. There's self-analysis. But once you start name-calling yourself, flogging yourself, or, oh, I should have done this, why did I do this? The hindsight is 2020 type of a thing, then you've blocked yourself and you could even regress. You could even put things on hold because you name-called yourself. Doesn't even have to be just, it can just be one time, and that could be enough to stop someone's project for a very long time. So the message is keep going and reach high. Watch your dreams unfold. Going back in because they're about to talk about pets. So I see all these pets, they're roaring with energy. So there are a lot of pets that go nuts. They're all over the place. They're jumping. They're having a grand old time. They're having a party. So I don't know what they know, but they're having a pisser of a time. They love it here. There's something going on in the animal kingdom, but I'm looking more at what's in your household. The pets are having a pisser of a time. Yes, they are. So if you find, I'm even getting, there are some animals, some dogs and cats, furry ones that are in your home. And if you pet them while they're playing, they could even possibly bite you. They could even do a little bite, and it's the frisky, but you're shocked that they've done that. They want to be let alone. So let them rejoice. Let them party their asses off because it's their time. They're feeling something. They are rejoicing. They're in an energy, the je ne sais quoi, the something that we cannot put our finger on. They feel it. We don't know what the heck is up. They are all over the place jumping for joy. Let them alone. Best not to grab them to try and stroke them and pet them when they're bouncing back and forth. Don't corral them in while they're doing that because they're experiencing something that feels incredibly high and beautiful. Tender words are needed during 2020. People need to be nice. People need to say comforting things. People need to say wonderful, loving things. When's the last time that you hugged a friend? When's the last time that you told someone you appreciated them? Go inside and see whether you, in fact, have not been sharing love with others. Very, very important to share your love with other people. What have you not expressed to another? It's right there. It's just sitting there, but you haven't. Why? You're stifling something. There are those of you out there that are watching this now that are sitting there. They're biting their tongue. They're looking away. They don't even want to hear this. Oh, I know. And they're waiting. I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know what it's about, but take a look at this. Is it sorrow? If you blame yourself that you should have said it a long time ago and you didn't, forgive yourself because you've incurred karma with yourself. If you're blaming another person because they were supposed to say something or they weren't supposed to do something or supposed to, shoulda, woulda, couldas, that's a fallacy in Earth School. Does not compute. Everyone is having a grand old time in their journey. Everyone is allowed to be exactly where they are. They can or can't. They should, would, could, not, yes, no. They could do whatever they want. But when you put an expectation on another, this does not compute. You've just set yourself up for disappointment. So take a look at what has not been expressed, the love that is inside that needs to be shared with another. Get it out. You might regret it later on. It's very, very important for the other to know what's going on inside of you and how you have wanted to say this for so long. Now I see chimneys. I see the people who are angry as heck. They are so pissed off, the chimneys that are ready to explode. You're going to need to get it out. Now's the time. Get out a journal, go to a self-help group, see a therapist, go to a 12-step meeting. Are you eating well? Are you sleeping enough? Are you a workaholic? What's up? You are so furious. Do you know that this isn't healthy and that it affects your physical body? It affects you. It goes in and it blocks energy meridians. It blocks the pathways. You could possibly end up with autoimmune or cancer, allergies, sensitivities, mental health issues, anxiety, depression, panic, phobias. We could go on and on. So regarding your fury, the ones that are listening that are so pissed off, that are so furious, whether you feel that you were wronged or you were ripped off, or how could that person have done that to me? It's time to accept. That's the A word, folks. Acceptance is key. When you accept what is in the now, and you from a heartfelt place, when you feel that truly and you accept, you can move forward. So I am not going to challenge you. I'm offering this to you. For those of you who are angry, in 2020 now is a wonderful time to let go of what holds you back, because anger's a block. It eats away inside, and people also feel it. So there's an energy. It's a lower vibration, anger, and it's something that folks sense, and people don't want to be with or around people who are angry. They sense it. And if it's not energetic, it could come out in your words and your actions. They're telling you take a sip. Have a sip of water if you've got your water by you. That'll help flush any negative energies out. Now you might ask, but you're not doing a healing, you're doing a reading. Why do I have to drink water to flush negative energies out of me? Chances are your higher self is doing work right now. And you're working with guides and loved ones, maybe my guides, and you're deciding to get rid of things that haven't served you. And the water helps flush those energies that you've just released out of your physical body. So I'm seeing some people who've had a lot of determination, but they put things on hold and they go back and forth. They vacillate between, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take steps. Nope. Oh, I'm going to try that. Nope. And going back and forth. You need to make up your mind. How much do you want this? Visualize the end product. What would you like to do? What do you want to see in this coming year? What would you like to be as an outcome or outcomes? You might want to write it down. That helps me. I like seeing the visual when I write a list. Write it down. See what you'd like to manifest. Could be one thing, it could be 100 things. I would keep it simple, maybe 20 to 30 the most, but if you're a go-getter and you could go up to 50, you go for it. Everyone rolls differently. And then ask yourself what you're afraid of. Ask yourself what you don't want to face. Ask yourself what you doubt. Now, some of these things could be realistic fears. They could also be realistic obstacles. I suggest using the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer is fantastic in discernment, in assessing whether something that you set out is realistic or something that's before you in general is something that you can control. This is the Serenity Prayer, and you could look this up. SERENITY, Serenity Prayer. And it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And for those of you who might be a little confused what that means, basically there's something in front of me. Is it what's in my control here? What's not in my control? And is there anything that I'll do about it? And I'm going to let the rest go if it isn't in my control. So regarding goal setting and projects and what you'd like to manifest in 2020, use the Serenity Prayer if you feel that there are true, realistic obstacles in front of you. Are these obstacles you could do anything about? Are these things that you have to accept and just let be? And with that assessment, then you could determine whether the goal that you've set for yourself is realistic to even have on your list. Does it need to be altered somewhat now that you've assessed that there are certain things that are in my control and I'm going to have to work around it and change my idea of what I'd like? Take your time and go easy and glide. There are going to be equinoxes and solstices, full moons, new moons, retrogrades with different planets. The stars align in different ways. You might feel differently depending on the astrology. Now, I don't claim to be an astrologer, but I do believe in it, and I know that there are ebbs and flows regarding what happens to us and how we feel. So for those of you who do follow astrology, find a good astrologer, take note, or find astrologers that you admire, and watch for patterns in your behavior when there's a full moon, new moon, equinox, solstice, Mercury in retrograde, or other planets that go direct, and conjuncts and trines and all these different things, which I'm not very familiar with. And get to know yourself better that way. That will assist some of you in knowing how you roll in relation to the stars. I do see boys trying to be masculine. So there are men that are beefing themselves up and they're trying to get strong, and that is very supported. The men, the divine masculine and men are being supported now during this time. It's important to know that, men, sir. Very, very important. You're being supported regarding your masculinity. There's peace with you. You're generating a lot of energy. You're in a great place. Stay strong. Feel tall, broad. And when they say feel tall, if you're short, the feel tall means to be erect and feel grand. Know that the divine feminine is here to assist, that we love the men that are in their power, and that grace supports you as well. So there is the divine feminine that softens some of the divine masculine where they might be rough around the edges. And the message to the divine masculine during this time is keep trooping, keep moving along. We've got you. We know your strength. We know you're tired, but you've got this. For the divine feminine, a lot of the women are out there partying and they feel like it's our time, we've got this, but there is an anger, there's a seething anger underneath a lot of this rejoicing, and that women need to take a look at their anger towards men. They need to admit it, they need to own it and take responsibility for the anger that they have towards men. That they need to heal because there's a vilifying of the divine masculine now. And it is unjust, and that women are fearing that they will be alone, but they created this. They created this solitude by vilifying males. So 2020 is a time for getting it right and undoing the wrongs and healing. So for the women who are not sure about how they feel, they need to get honest with themselves and ask themselves whether the feminism, the liberation, the rejoicing of their womanhood is because they love themselves, or is it because they hate men? And then heal that. Friends will be coming in for many people. This is a lifetime of finding community and finding like minds, soul recognition, love. If you're not sure whether you've met the one, they're coming. That's what they say. So if you aren't sure, probably they're not. They're not the one, because you would know. That best friend partner match is there, but they're not ready to enter yet. But I think for many of you, you feel it and you know it, and it's just a matter of when. So you don't have to keep track by the clock. Just watch this unfold. It's going to be a great year. There's a lot of love in the air, a lot of love. I feel that it's pouring in. I feel that heaven has created a lot of matches in this lifetime. There are many people that are going to be pairing. I do see divorce for some. There will be separation for quite a few, that this is necessary in order for people to, they say, right the mistakes that they've made, that they can't be with certain people because what has been done is too confusing, and that it's necessary to partner with others, that it's more important to be with other than be with the person that they were betrothed to. Regarding the children and the pot smoking, as I was told, it's no longer called pot, it's called weed. It seems there are two camps regarding the liberation of pot and the maintaining the status quo. So people during this time, they need to ask themselves why they're using it. Is this for medicinal purposes, or is this for escape? And for those of you who are using marijuana to escape, you can ask yourself, what do you fear? What are you fleeing from? It's more responsible to take care of yourself emotionally than to anesthetize yourself with product. They're funny. Well, I'm dating myself, so you'll have to look this up. I see people holding hands in a circle and swaying back and forth and singing Kumbaya. So look up Kumbaya, and I think that was Joan Baez, Baez, and the song, I believe it's a song, I think it's Kumbaya, Kumbaya. So it's just a very folky, earthy, crunchy, commune style setting that I see. There are a lot of people that are getting together and they're swaying in song and they're having a grand old time. More people will meditate. More people are looking for centeredness and balance, and this is coming true. So if you've wanted to be centered and balanced, 2020 is your year. Watch that. I see people needing to change their shoes. So check out what shoes you're wearing. Some of them are raggedy and they need to be tossed. They really are poor sights. So you need to dump them, get some really good sneakers or good shoes that have padding, and you're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel more steady throughout the day. Change your shoes, folks. This is metaphorical, but it's also literal. Recipe exchange. So I see that there are people that are going to start passing on recipes to each other. So people are going to start making interesting concoctions. They're going to start cooking more. People are going to start going back to the hearth, and they're going to check out their kitchen, and then there might be some groups, some fun, and then people are going to like, let's make a salad, let's have the pasta, let's get a protein dish. And then there are going to be people, there'll be a center island, there'll be a kitchen, and then there'll be the kids maybe off playing and the dining room table. And it's a little bit of potluck dinner, but it's also some community involvement where people are schmoozing and they're also coming up with certain recipes that they wanted to make, but they put it together at the get-together. It's not, some of it's prepared, but there's other stuff that's prepared in community, in a group setting, and it's very festive. So people are going to have a grand old time with putting together dishes because they wanted to, and then people share the recipe, and then their kids love it. And if kids aren't involved, it doesn't matter. It's a great adult thing to do. Regarding the metaphor of the recipes, the recipe is, what's your recipe for success? What's your recipe for getting that done? What's your recipe? Pick people's brains. We come here for spiritual growth opportunity. So if a person has a recipe for success, we have a choice. We either scorn them, We feel miserable about ourselves. We avoid them or we try and bring them down. That's one road. The other road is we get curious. We're happy for them. We go, oh, I'm so delighted. Great for you. You figured that out. What's your secret? Ask people what their recipe is. And if you don't ask them directly, watch them and see how they've come to be who they are, how they've come into themselves. And if it's someone who you admire from afar, see if there's a biography or an autobiography or some video about how they got to be at the place that they're at. If you're trying to attune yourself to higher vibrations, open yourself up. If there's jealousy and envy, it won't work. It's a lower vibration. It's judgmental, there's ego involvement, and that needs to be extinguished. There's no room for this in Earth School. We all come in with our respective gifts, and we have a lot to share with each other. So this recipe swap is not only literal, but it's metaphorical. They want people to know this upcoming year, there are people that have these dragged out illnesses. They're in hospitals, they're on life support, coma, feeding tubes, hospice, autoimmune that drags in and out of hospitals, repetitive surgeries, and people are asking, WTF on this? Why is this person not left the earth? This is a time, there are a lot of people that don't want to leave. They want to stick around. There's a lot going on and they'd rather remain here, even if they're comatose or if they're in pain. There are a lot of people that want to remain on Earth. It's a fabulous time to be alive. It's an auspicious time in Earth's history. So for those of you that are complaining or very, very upset, pained, saddened because your loved one, your friend, a partner, a child is ailing and there's repeat, or drag out and they're not gone. They are not on the other side where you know they would be at peace. It is because they choose to be here. They want to remain here. There's work to be done. And if they can't talk, they're lying there, they can't move, or they're just crying, or they're on morphine, whatever the case. Their higher self, their spirit is doing work. They're traveling all over. They're making contact. They could be talking to your higher self. Give them a break. Let them be. You can pray to angels that they don't suffer. You could talk to their higher self, which means you talk to them in your head or out loud. They don't have to be there. And wish them well and say, whatever you're doing, I wish you well. I wish you peace. And I understand that if you're not ready to go, it's because you must be doing something. There must be more work to be done. Your contract isn't over. And that there are guides and there are angels that are assisting in this. Everything is divinely ordered, and your loved one is not forsaken. I'm going to keep going and see if there's more. So regarding wealth and abundance and finances, there are people that are counting their change and they wish that they had more. Go inside, ask yourself what you want. Put it down, write it down. Put it down meaning write it down. Imagine that you have success and abundance and prosperity and put it in the present tense. I am rich, I am prosperous, I am abundant. Everything is coming my way. Imagine that the money's in the mail. The check is received. The bounty is here. You could write it down on pieces of paper. You could put it on your night table, post it on your bathroom mirror, on your kitchen counter. You could put a piece of paper in your wallet or pocketbook. Bounty. I have arrived. I have more than enough. What I'd like to do now, I'd like to do a healing for the collective for 2020, this year, 2020, the year of perfect vision, where as a collective we release blocks that would keep people from manifesting, from creating what they desire in this year and forward. So as a collective, across time and space, forwards and backwards across all generations, we ball up all the lifetimes where there are any blocks to manifesting what our hearts and our minds desire. And you say inside, I forgive myself. I see a lot of love streaming over everyone. Beauty and love. It's simple and pure. Forgive everyone and everything. Now I see a mighty roar, so there's a lot of energy that goes out. And many people's hearts are open and they're just doing it. Ask for everyone and everything's forgiveness. Please, all of you, forgive me because I had unforgiveness towards you. I see a weight lifted, so some people's heads might feel lighter. There might have been tension in the back of the head, and I feel that that's released. And I do feel that some people now are dehydrated, so you're going to need to sip water. Definitely all of you sip water between now and when you go to sleep. That'll help flush any of these negative energies through the physical body. And the last part, thank God for these life lessons. And if you wish to insert universe, source, spirit, I am, creator, Mother, Father, God. Watch how you shift. When you do your work here, your environment will shift. Take note of how you've created an external movie screen with different characters, different settings, different outcomes, because you've done the work internally. That's the law of attraction. Thought creates form. So I believe, because they kind of shut down. So I believe that this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please press like, comment below if it resonated with you, subscribe to my channel. I think it's a red rectangle that says subscribe, and to the right of it, there's a little bell icon. And if you click the cursor on the bell where it says all, you'll receive all the notifications of when I release a video. Share, please, with other people. I'd love for other people to get a hold of this message because I believe it's quite a powerful message. If you wish to have a session with me, please go to my website, jonieswhitelighealing.com. All the information is below. Under the video, you'll see there's a lot. And there's a disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. I do not claim to heal or cure. You can friend me on Facebook. Just please tell me how you found me. Like my Joanie's White Light Healing page. I'm on SoundCloud. I have written and recorded songs and done some covers. And I'm on LinkedIn. Please link in with me as well. So I look forward to seeing you at my next video, and have a fantastic day and a fantastic 2020. Bye.